Hello, hey everybody, welcome. So great to see everybody in the live chat. Hello, and special hello to all the members there. Thank you so much for that. There is a join bump, and listen to me. There is a join button on the channel. It is also in the link of the description or in the description of the video because for some reason when you have an iPhone, you don't always see the join button. So check the description link. There'll be links there for merch and for membership. I'm starting to put him in there every time because it's a question that comes up almost every time, which is fantastic, but I want to let you guys know it was there. Hello and welcome, and thank you so much to my mods for being here. Nancy's here. Dip Me in Glitter is here as well. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where I share the news that has the internet buzzing in terms of Scientology. You'll catch me doing that during the week at 8 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Central Time on the weekends, and in between them, I jump in and do interviews with different people throughout the community. So when you do hit that subscribe button, you want to make sure you hit the notification bell because sometimes those notifications actually go out. And when it works, it is a beautiful thing because then you will know about the interviews that I'll be doing that are upcoming. Today, I have a very special guest. And if you have questions today, please do put question, write question like in all caps so we can see it easy and have your question follow. That'll help because we want to answer as many as we can. Liz Ferris, thank you so much for gifting 5 Scientology Life After a Cult memberships. People love that in the chat. Liz Ferris is like making it rain with memberships. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. So I think we got our housekeeping in order. If you have not already, hit the like button. Just like real quick, go over, take your mouse, ding, ding, hit the like button. Check your subscribe as well. Thank you, everybody. And shall we get going? Let's get going. Without further ado, we're going to bring to the main stage here Scientology Audit, Streets LA, William Gude. Yay!
How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm so glad we finally connected. I know we both got a couple of crazy schedules. Thank you for everybody to kind of just rolling with us for a few days. That's just how it has to be sometimes.
Things have been a little crazy lately.
Yeah, it has. It has. Now, of course, this is land of a million questions here, but there's a couple of things I know I specifically want to talk about and I have questions about. And one of those is the last time we chatted when I had you on the channel, we talked a little bit about some projects and things you were working on. And I wanted to check in and see if there's anything that you want to share about that. I know that we've got people, and I can't recall if I told you this or not. We've got a spreadsheet going. I've got a few volunteers who've been keeping track of videos, and I know people have been sending them to Mindy. So I know there's a lot of action happening in that area. Is there anything else that you need or anything you care to share about that?
Yeah, we step back and think about what needs to be done, right? We've gone through different stages, at least here in Los Angeles, of how we were going to go after the Church of Scientology. It started off, obviously, trying to disrupt recruitment at the test center. At the same time, not just try to affect recruitment, but also affect their ability to get money, new money from coming in by selling books or coursework and stuff. And we've been effective at that. We've been effective at essentially shutting down, at least from an open operation standpoint, the Ivar building, especially with the L. Ron Hubbard Museum downstairs, that shut down. The blue building, you don't really see them come outside a whole lot the way they used to. You don't see the drop-offs like you used to. And then when it comes to, some of the side Scientology, I guess call it projects, La Poubelle, they're on their way out. They're not getting much business at all. They've dropped their security guards. Things are not going good for them. So at this point, and like we talked about in the past, I think early on TikTok was really good at getting people's attention, at 30 to 60 seconds a piece. Now it's more important to kind of drive home a narrative, tell a story, show exactly what's going on. That way to penetrate. It's one thing if we're kind of joking about Sebastian wearing his corset. It's another thing when we show the abuse of, say, the LAPD over and over and over again. Not just the LAPD, but individual officers, Officer Ludo, Officer White, showing and building a narrative from that perspective, showing how Officer White was harassing SB Spanglish over at the Blue Building, showing how Officer White was coming and giving protection at the test center, giving protection at La Poubelle, showing up at the hearing for their to extend their licensing. Why does he keep on showing up? And I think it's important to put together narratives and movies to show people exactly what's going on. These aren't one-off incidents. So with that having been said, I think from here, going forward, we really have to drive home those narratives, drive home and listen, also show this stuff to politicians. This stuff is effective. We show the politicians the abuse. This is effective, personally helpful with some of the restraining order cases that I'm fighting to show the patterns of abuse. So I think it's important that we actually string these things together, all these different incidents, put them together, make movies, create narratives, things like that. Me personally, it's just hard for me to find a time to like go through a 5-hour live
Yeah.
and get those clips. So if people can put these things together, and I know Mindy's been putting it together,
Yeah.
and then my moderator and assistant Alyssa has been helping me coordinate with that now, so we can put together and make movies and things like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, and we have, like I said, there's been people have been reaching out. I've been directing them to kind of a shared Google Drive we've been doing. I'm like, just put
Okay.
it in there. And Kelly
Okay.
Copter, who is in the UK, who is an ex-Scientologist, she has a channel here on YouTube and does amazing video work too, has offered to do some work with putting it together. She just needs the links and what it is. But I don't know if you've ever seen any of Kelly Copter's videos. They're pretty
I have
amazing.
not. I have to.
She did the one when Aaron was falsely arrested during the whole Patrick Perry thing. She put together all the different angles, and in one sitting, you could watch the whole thing as it happened.
See, that's excellent. So there's another thing is we also have to confront the LAPD brass with these things.
Mhm.
Detective Ludo gets away with this stuff because he can do what he wants and nobody's holding him accountable. If we put together these videos and I confront the chief and I confront the LAPD commission with this and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is good policing? Do you think this is a good use of resources? Is this fair policing? And and hammer that home and get them on record. You know what's going to happen? I bet you Ludo's going to either go away or stop messing with us. So
Yeah.
I think, from that perspective, it's important.
Yeah, I really like your idea and your thoughts on that because you're right. Often it is that peer pressure of people going, "What are you doing?" Because right now they think, "Oh, it's only the protesters that see it," or the people. I feel in ways that the LAPD and obviously Scientology don't understand how the internet works.
They
And that it's
don't.
forever.
Well, yeah, they don't understand, and at the same time, it leads to some hubris because they just think that they're untouchable. The key thing is we have to use it. Now we have the internet, and we have social media. We really have to maximize how we use it, not just a matter of just doing a live video and have our fun while we're out there or drive our point home while we're out there. A lot of times when we're doing the lives, we're reaching the same viewers. We have to find ways to reach new people to win them over to our side. When we talk about the abuses of Church of Scientology, after you have a talk with somebody for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or an
Mhm.
hour-long video, they are not going to walk away feeling better about Scientology. No matter what the Church of Scientology does as far as creating their own videos, none of it is helpful. I was looking at their TikTok channel and it's the mystery sandwich type video where it's not going to win anybody over.
That's exactly what they do. That mystery sandwich is a L. Ron Hubbard. They train their people in marketing and PR to do exactly that, but they take it to the next level. There's a difference between a mystery sandwich of leaving a little bit something to be, to be found out to pull you in, and outright making no sense and just word salad.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we talked about this before. When they at one time they thought it was going to be the great strategy. Was it named Betsy White? The great strategy where they were going to put their
Mhm.
movie outside the test center and let it play, and the masses were going to flock to it and think it was brilliant. Nobody looked at it. No one. Absolutely no
No.
one.
No, and I noticed that they don't play that out there. They haven't in some time played the video of the Way to Happiness precepts. because it's just like, who checks this? Is there no gut check? But I don't think there is, because often it's things are so micromanaged within Scientology when it comes to David Miscavige, and when there are flaps, when there are situations, and he just micromanages it into the ground. I'm always imagining the meetings that they're having, and just how, because nobody will stand up to him and go, "Oh, excuse me, sir, but you might want to think about it." Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. He makes the decisions. He says what to do. He has physically abused his direct staff. I mean, the guy is a nut job.
I mean, and listen, if the fact that he's making all the decisions and he's very, I guess, insulated and isolated, it doesn't allow him to make good decisions where we can run circles around him. And I
Yeah.
think we need to take advantage of that. Again, I think it's very important. We all know about the abuses of the LAPD when dealing with the Scientologists here in Hollywood. I don't. Do the masses know about that? I don't think so. I think if we put together and if we're only showing lives, it's only our subscribers that are seeing it. If we're actually making videos and shorts to put
Yeah.
onto YouTube, you'll reach. It's a whole different algorithm. You reach new people, and when
Mhm.
people see that, we win them over every time.
Yep, that is so, so true. And I always encourage people, whether you're clipping, you're making shorts, whatever it is, use these videos and get the word out. It's on social media, because that's the tool that's going to get it out to so many people. There are 2 billion people on YouTube. So that's a
Yeah.
lot of eyes.
Yes, it is. A lot of untapped eyes that we can reach out to. And again, when we present this story, whether it's in a minute format or an hour format, we will win every time. The Church of Scientology cannot win a PR war. They rely on suppression. They rely on people being quiet. The more we talk about them, the easier it'll be to win. They can't win that. So take
Yeah,
advantage
no.
of it.
No, they can't. They can't win, and they're operating off of something that is so old and antiquated, L. Ron Hubbard's way of seeing things and doing things. But the other thing they never counted on, between there's the internet, they never counted on the fact, or ever thought or recognized, that so many people never in Scientology would become so outraged and would
Yeah.
come together, even for different reasons. Because people who are cop watching and exposing the LAPD, that goes hand in hand with Scientology. Scientology and LAPD corruption are just this marriage that exists, and you're exposing both at the same time. It is just the best thing ever.
It's a huge gift too.
Yeah.
Going after each individually, it's just not as effective. Listen, people have a lot of goodwill toward the cops, to the police,
Mhm.
automatically. It's just a natural thing, and it takes a lot of abuse in people's face over and over again for them to change their opinion. Well, I got to tell you, the average person doesn't have a high opinion of the Church of Scientology. I think it's very confusing when they see that their beloved police force, who they think can do no wrong,
Yeah.
is covering up for this abusive cult. That's a major red flag. And then when they actually see their actions over and over again, it's helpful with fighting the LAPD the way I do. It's helpful with fighting the Church of Scientology, because it looks like, hey, you know what? Nobody's on the side except for the cops, who are going to use their authority to like improperly help out the Church of Scientology. So, that marriage between them, it's helpful.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. It couldn't be better. In a lot of ways, you're like, oh man, the cops are in the pocket. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Both
Yeah.
get exposed at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought it would be fun. I wanna show you too, I know on my channel, it's like I recap the protests, different Scientology news, and largely my content is based on what people are talking about. So whether it's in the different chats or the emails that I get, and thank you again, all of you, Natalie at lifeafteroccult.com. If you see something, say something, just give me a timestamp or clip it. Sometimes I get a 3-hour video. "You gotta see this." I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah.
Which part?
Yeah,
Because
that's
all of it is
tough.
great. Gotta narrow it down, because there's so much, and this is the beauty of it, because these protests are growing. We've got Denver, Portland, there's a big one going on right now. I know multiple people are headed out to, I think, Toronto. Just all over, it's continuing to grow, even outside of the country. I've heard people from, oh gosh, where was it? Was it Switzerland, Sweden? There's stuff in the UK, just all over. And as this continues, there's we've been seeing a lot of, I guess you call it like protest art, just creative ways of bringing some
Mhm.
levity while also delivering a message. And in doing what I do with the recaps and all that, I am like, hey, I want to make it entertaining because come for the entertainment, but then stay for the education and
Yeah.
get pissed off about Scientology and lend your voice to it. And I love what many are doing and a big fan of all of ours. People love it. You guys tell me in the chat if you're catching this on the replay, tell me in the comments how much you love Mini Streets because I would love to. I'm going to pull up a little Mini Streets episode so that you can react to it. I'm not sure if you've seen this one. This is the one where Mini Streets gets served.
I was watching this last night walking down Hollywood Boulevard laughing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So this is by Confident Chris. And Confident Chris, if you were still in the chat, I know you were. Can you email me, Natalie at Life After a Cult, because I want to interview you and Mini Streets. All right, so let's take a look. This is Mini Streets Get Served. I'm just dying about the Crocs here. In the beginning, there's no sound, but there we go.
We just got served. A little late, isn't it? A little late, isn't it? What day is it today? She's required to serve me 5 days before the court. She served me 3 days before. You know who's not gonna be showing up? Me. My lawyer is. Let's go over this. You know, I wasn't gonna stay here for long, but I'm just here to prove a point. An attempt for a restraining order stating, I'm going to shut this place down. That's not a threat. That's a fact. Anti-slap motion is defending my First Amendment right. You know what this is? It's an attempt, and it was denied. You know, from the incident that happened back then, you guys have been the ones committing the assaults.
he goes on. That one is a good 2 minutes. My other favorite one is Mini Streets visits DOA socks in jail. So you got to tell us, what do you think about Mini Streets?
I think first off, I love that guy. He's a great kid. He's funny, always brings a smile to my face. And I think it's super creative. I noticed at first, he was kind of just ad-libbing it. I think he put together a script on this last one because I heard verbatim some things that I've said. And I think it's absolutely hysterical. He actually, in his car, he has a book, he said, where he actually writes down, keeps notes on this stuff. And it's hysterical and everybody loves it. My mother, as soon as it comes out, my mom sends it to me. She thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, that's great. And I love too, he has an Amazon wish list with the mini hoodies and people have been sending him and he's got some nice ones. He got one the other day that's white and it says the Gude father on the back.
It's a funny thing. And that's a whole show in itself, him doing the Mini Streets thing. It's funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how it was going to transfer. I didn't know if people who know me for cop watching but don't know me for the Scientology stuff, I posted on Twitter and they recognized it too. I guess it's sort of universal, the hoodie and yelling at cops and people. So he's super hysterical and I want him to continue doing it because it gets better every time.
It does, and it brings a good amount of levity. Like I said, often it's it's tough stuff and it should be, and it's uncomfortable to talk about at times, and it should be, and finding the creativity in it and the ways to have fun. And I feel like many of the, like Confident Chris and Jessica is amazing at bringing that, like the ridiculousness of it to the top where you're like, wow, and it's okay to laugh at this. And for ex-Scientologists, especially ex-Sea Org members, it's so therapeutic because we would have never been allowed to laugh at something like that.
I think a lot of the fights that we see going back going back against Scientology, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
To have a few jokes and a few laughs along the way is super helpful. Especially, listen, again, we're trying to reach new people to spread the word about this. This is him doing Mini Streets is another way to reach new people. They might be like, what the hell is this? Who is this? And then next thing you know, they watch one of the videos and like, oh, I see where they got this from. That's so funny. And also just looking at videos that are, painful to watch over and over again because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
When you have the opportunity to break it up with a little laughter, it helps people just, you know, otherwise it'll wear you down. Otherwise you
Mhm.
say, I got to get the hell away from this. I need a break. Last week I took a break from a lot of the live streaming because I just needed a break from talking about how La Poubelle was a place that supports rape. You know, it's
Yeah.
just a dark subject matter. So to laugh at this, and Jessica is amazing at it. Jessica's always gonna, she's funny. She's super funny. She's very Jersey.
Yeah,
And, you
very
know,
Jersey, very Jersey. It's just it's so great. The other day here on the channel, earlier this week, at the end of my recap, we got into this entire conversation with the chat of who's going to play who in the movie when this entire thing is made into a Netflix special. And you guys in the chat, you guys got to remind me of everybody, the top ones that were going to play William Gude. The one that I remember was the most popular that I saw was The Rock.
The Rock, that's so funny. I gotta start working out then. Otherwise, it's not gonna be very realistic. That's
It was
funny.
The Rock. It was The Rock, and someone had said like, "Oh, Steve Austin for Aaron," or I mean, everybody from Confident Chris to Jessica to everybody. They were coming up with who would play who, and this just went on, and then it continued on in the comments, and there was so much of it that I'm like, you know, I really honestly believe that at some point, I think there could be multiple ones because where else is there? This is playing out in real time and is history making. Yet there's so many different people, and that is part of the beauty of it. Is people from
Yeah.
so many different communities. We get people even with, you know, physical disabilities who are out there doing their thing, and not just in Los Angeles too, but like in Portland and other areas. It's even inspired. In fact, I got to show you this because I don't know if you've seen it. Now, in Scientology, well, you're familiar with the Xenu story, one of the Scientology origin stories where Xenu, a galactic overlord, 75 million years ago, there was overpopulation. He froze all these people, dropped them into volcanoes on Earth, and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. This then released what were called body thetans, which attach to the bodies of humans, and they're what cause all of our problems. I mean, in a nutshell. So there's been this whole body thetan thing in Scientology that the average Scientologist doesn't know about it. Everybody outside of Scientology knows about this confidential information. Everybody who watches South Park knows about it. But in Scientology, they don't know. And Feral Cheryl over in Clearwater, I don't know if you saw this one, has created this is Mini Street's body thetan.
Ah,
So you guys, so let's take a look at Feral Cheryl's video of Mini Street's body thetan in Clearwater protesting at the Flag Land Base, which is where all the upper level Scientology is delivered. Check it out.
A former Scientologist, and you were stuck in this building.
It's so cute.
Let me know if
Stupid,
you can see your-
Goofy hotel. I'm gonna write you up.
That's the Harrison.
Fort Harryhausen or Fort Horrificson.
I was skipping around on her video because she goes to a couple locations.
I tried to keep her laughing.
She can't even keep a straight face long enough. I gotta find where's the one clip. Sorry for the going through like this so much, you guys. There.
I can't believe you, Twilla.
oh God.
Goofy bus, goofy religion. Pack it up.
But point being, it's just really like inspired that now there's puppets. Now there's not just there's a spin-off of Mini Streets, which is Mini Streets Body Thetan over in Clearwater.
This thing, it's going to keep on evolving as we go along. Listen, our tactics are going to keep on evolving, and I think some of the spin-offs are going to continue evolving. If you think about it, a couple months ago, especially on TikTok, you had a lot of these character accounts. So you had, you know, myself and Jessica and Chris and other Chris and all the other ones, LA Cam and all the other ones out there posting on TikTok. And then so you started having the Lurch account, Sebastian account, a Twilla account that made their own videos. Now this is just a new iteration of it because we mostly migrated to YouTube, and now people are finding their own creative touches. That's Exactly. I mean, honestly, that's exactly what we want. We want this to get out to as many eyeballs as possible, spread the word as much as possible. So it's
Oh
awesome to
yeah,
keep on seeing it.
it is crossing age groups. I have seen the hashtag grannies for Gude or Gude
Oh,
grannies. I mean, just like grandmas for Gude, it just all over the place. I think it's been great. I'm gonna grab a couple of these questions here. Indigo Twin, you look radiant in yellow. Thanks for all your hard work, Natalie. Thank you, and thank you for the super chat. This is one of Lara FM's hoodies. It says it's a cult in Spanish, but I
wow.
love the color. I love it. Andrea Nickel, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Hip hip hooray. Okay, so Taylor's asking, what are some examples of things a cop would say to you that are false and manipulative, like telling you something that you're doing that they claim you can't?
I mean, everything they do. A lot of times, what they just say is, "Listen, these officers are not used to being challenged. They've been
Mm,
in the force 10 years, 15 years. And so a lot of times what they say is they just make up things as they go along, make up their own laws. I was looking at a video yesterday of Joy of Everything, where they was telling him that he could not film out there at in front at Dodger Stadium. Imagine being at a baseball stadium and saying that he can't film while everybody else around there is taking pictures, selfies and stuff like that. So I mean, cops say anything. They tell you that you can't be there, they tell you you can't film. They tell a lot of the protesters over here when they go inside the police station, they're not allowed to film in there. And that's just totally untrue. The lobby of the police station is a public access point and you're allowed to film in there. So to narrow it down to just one thing is cops say a lot of everything and you just have to sort of challenge it along. You don't have to, if something doesn't make sense when you hear them say it, then feel free to challenge it because a lot of times once you challenge it, they'll back down.
that's great advice. Over Newbin is asking, how many hoodies do you have?
How many hoodies do I have? 20, 30? I don't know. A lot. Yeah,
I
I
keep
have every
saying,
color.
I bet. I keep telling I told my Tony, I'm like, you know what? Adidas needs to be sponsoring this man. Or whoever hoodie said he's wearing. That would be the smartest brand deal right now. I'm like, how are they not just like throwing stuff at you yet? Like, please wear these hoodies.
Oh, I'm sure the Church of Scientology would put together some sort of hate campaign against that, that maker of goods. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably. Probably. Gina says that the why is good. Kira's asking, or Carrie is asking, can we expect a mini streets collab or can you get him with a lawyer? He was served by a lawyer in Crocs yesterday. Do you mean that Carrie like a collab with the real streets?
Well, the funny thing is, the detail in that video, walking up with the Crocs, because the lawyer wore Crocs to court. They're very professional, La Poubelle lawyer, wore Crocs to court, and that little Ziploc bag. She served me in the Ziploc bag, and then
Yeah.
him putting it on top of the mailbox, the exact mailbox where I placed
Yeah.
my papers and went through it and yelled. So the detail is fantastic.
It is. That's the thing is Confident Chris. He's really getting those little things that really are even important parts of it. Like that was because I remember watching the live and being like, Ziploc bag. What?
I,
Okay.
I'm still shocked by that whole case. I mean, they have no chance of winning, and so I look forward to going to court with that and making an example.
Yeah. What is the next step with that now?
So we have a court date in like 3 weeks. In the meantime, we're filing the anti-SLAPP petition. So we'll get a court date before the restraining order court date. We'll go in for the anti-SLAPP hearing. If we win the anti-SLAPP hearing, then the court date will be thrown, the restraining order hearing date will be thrown out. I have to go through that this week. On Wednesday, so on the 13th, I have a restraining order hearing by a guy who's claiming I committed elder abuse
Mhm.
and got a restraining order, even that includes his dog. Um, it's kind of ridiculous. That court date is on the 13th, but on Wednesday of this week, we have an anti-SLAPP hearing. And if I win the anti-SLAPP hearing, then we won't have the court date next week. And then that person will be responsible for paying my lawyer's fees. So We'll see how that goes.
Oh, I just cannot wait. I cannot wait for that.
I bet you it'll be a mini streak going to court
Yeah.
episode.
See, Kelly, I am in love with mini streets. Donna was saying, "Oh no, the poor security guard is jobless," and you think he
I
probably got
mean,
let go for they can't pay him.
yeah. Listen, I mean, it's La Poubelle. They have a new LLC that they started a month ago. Why?
That's interesting.
Suspicious. And with a
Yeah,
new owner, it makes me wonder. There's a personal guarantee involved with some loans that they can't pay. It makes me wonder.
yeah,
And can they keep on afford to paying those security costs? That's a lot of money. Like I say, restaurants have a very slim profit margin.
yeah,
Adding those costs and then a decline in the people that are coming to your restaurant hurts. So let's see. Yeah, he might be jobless. It's not my problem. That's
yeah,
his problem. He made a choice, and
yeah,
he said some statements that rape happens all the time. He said, "No, I don't feel
yeah,
bad for him."
yeah. Oh, really? Okay, we'll just pack it up and go home then.
Yeah,
That's so dumb.
yeah.
It's so dumb.
I mean, like I told him, that says a lot about his moral standards. That the
Hmm.
fact that he will come there and collect, he'd say, "Oh, well, I'm just here for the money." Yeah,
Yeah,
that's blood money. The fact that you will accept it for this place, it's a
they've
choice you're
been
making.
they've been hurting for a while. I had heard from someone in Los Angeles in that area who knows someone connected to the restaurant. She was trying to sell it a year ago, and it
I
was
look
not
at the
doing well.
restaurants that are along that street in that little strip, and they're packed.
Mhm.
So the seating, they have indoor and outdoor seating. It's all packed. And again, they turn that over 3, 4 times during the course of a night. La Poubelle, they never pack it, and they're not turning it over. Like I said, if they're having 10 customers, 15 customers come in there when they need hundreds, it's just not going to cut it. So yeah, I mean, doesn't look good for them. I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Super anxiety chick is asking, could next step be showing up at local media outlets?
Um, I mean, possibly anything's possible. Listen, next week I know I have uh, a media team following, a news team following us around for the week over to document what we're doing. Um, I'll be honest with you, I don't really think too far ahead of what comes next. At one time, what comes next was me just sitting out in front of the test center,
Mhm.
messing with them for a half hour. And it grew from there. Then the test center closed down, and everybody's like, "Well, what comes next?" I said, "Well, what comes next is I'm not going to stand in front of a closed building just filming.
Mhm.
There's no point. We'll move on to the next thing." It went on to the Blue Building. Then it went on to the Celebrity Center. Then it went on to La Poubelle. Don't know what comes next, but there will be next as long as the Church of Scientology is still in business, because I consider it a business. As
Yeah.
long as they're still in business, then there'll be efforts that we can do to shut them down. Not going to stop.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Barb Thomas is asking, do you think there's been a slowdown on the LAPD in showing up at the protesters when there are calls?
Yeah, listen, the LAPD abuses, they'll do stuff like that. They did all these arrests. These were all Ludo's arrests. Every arrest except for the ones that happened in the Blue Building with Danny. All the other ones were at the behest of Detective Ludo. So when they refused to arrest Patrick Henry for biting me and biting Chris without a Hellcat, Ludo refused to take the arrest report. When SB Spanglish had Patrick Perry brandish the illegal baton and make criminal threats, it was Ludo who refused to take the crime report or make the arrest. When Aaron got called back, got taken to the station for 4 hours, Tommen was the one who was at the scene running things at the scene. He was on his cell phone. He was calling a detective back at the station asking what he should do. And I'm telling you, Ludo said, "Bring Aaron back to the station and we'll keep him here." Ludo is the one who was responsible for DOA, Danny, and Cam getting arrested for supposedly having tear gas. These are all Ludo's operations. It was a Ludo who chose not to arrest the guy who broke my nose. It was a Ludo who chose not to, have any arrests over that older guy coming out and hitting Jessica. These are all Ludo's operations. So, you know, I got to say, it's very important that we show exactly what a Ludo is doing. And I think that they've reached a point where they just couldn't keep on doing these arrests
Yeah.
because they were reaching a breaking point. And again, I don't think we've done a particularly good job of getting that story out. I don't. I think we've done a lot of things great. I don't think we've done a great job of explaining to the public the LAPD abuses. But the good thing about videos is forever, and we can do that now and put it out
Yeah.
there.
Definitely, and that is something, like I said, I've been talking with Kelly Copter about, is putting together more of those montages. And people, there's been other ones. Utology is a channel here on YouTube that did one about DOA's swatting. And it just brings it together in a way that's so impactful because you get to kind of like see all of the main parts, and it's dramatic and it's eye-opening, and it just happens over and over again.
Especially when you get people who say, I never thought that the police were this bad, and this is
Yeah.
so eye-opening to me. Because my
Mhm.
thing is, listen, they obviously will defend the Church of Scientology and show bias towards the protesters. But this isn't the only time it happens. Happens all the time. It happens for other businesses. It
Mm.
happens for, all these relationships that the police have, relationships that they have with the politician, and looking after the politician's interests by, with their policing. So this is systemic. I've been seeing it and talking about it for years. Now people are seeing the way that they're doing it, and they're just happening to be doing it to protect like one of the most disgusting organizations you're going to find, a human trafficking vault.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, completely. It's just, I can't tell you how great that it's all just coming out and coming out this way with opportunities for so many people to help. There's even more people who are getting on YouTube that aren't able to go out and protest, but who've never been in Scientology and are starting to just start channels to talk about it and cover it and share about it and talk to each other about it. We're seeing smaller channels too, interviewing like even smaller channels. Did you hear Denver Scientology Audit, Jay, who's out there, who recently was attacked by a Sea Org member who was taken away? But Jay's been like, at the end of his stream the other day, he sent everybody over to MD Media, who is in Portland, just to do a Denver raid on his channel. When he was done, saw that he was online and said, all right, everybody go over there. And they
Smart.
do. Yeah, it was just
That's
like
super
such a
smart.
great thing. I absolutely love that because it really, you, I wish that I could highlight every single one, and we have to, share what we can within the time that we have, but I do it every single day and learn of new ones. We recently discovered, or as people like to call it, when new characters get unlocked.
Yeah.
And Dan Walks LA is another one of those who brings amazing education to people, but does it in a way that's humorous too. He's just so funny to watch. So funny to watch.
Listen, if you're actually just like trying to inform yourself on a subject like schoolwork, it's boring and it's hard to keep your attention. A little bit of humor here and there keeps your attention on the subject matter. So yeah, I mean, having that little bit of levity and a little bit of humor, I think it's not just helpful. I think it's something that we've capitalized on since the beginning. I think, we've been calling them the test center, the people working at test center, cult members. But at the same time, we've had some fun making, we poke some fun at them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a clip that I'm sharing tomorrow because I saw it after I did my show this morning, of Jessica Palmadeza getting everybody, every time a cop girl drives by, she's like, all right, hit the decks, hit the ground, get in the position. Which is so beautiful because, one, it's funny. Secondly, there is, DOA has shared, like he has talked about, I hear helicopters and I get kind of nervous when I see the cops coming. So it just is another thing that brings some humor to it. But at the same time, it really points out that it's an issue.
Yeah.
And Planet Lupa, thank you so much for the super chat. Is there, besides photos of LAPD officers and Scientology sponsorship, a paper trail of the donations to the LAPD, and how long does it go back?
So they don't donate directly to the LAPD. They donate to the police foundations and the police union, which are private entities. So therefore, you wouldn't be able to get any paperwork associated with it. So it's hard. I don't know how you'd be able to get that sort of documentation. What we do know is when they do give a donation, they like to talk about it. So they like to say, hey, we made a donation to the police foundation for $50,000 or whatnot. At this point, do we need to establish a paper trail? I don't even think we need to, because all we have to do is look at the actions. Look
Yeah.
at the actions of the police and how they protect the Church of Scientology. And that's as effective as it gets. It's better than the paper trail, you know?
Yeah, and Scientology themselves admit it in their multiple press release propaganda that they crank out about their donations and what they're supporting and handing over checks to the LAPD. It's well documented by them.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
listen, here's I think it's also important. The council member in where the Scientologists operate here in Hollywood, at the Blue Building, at the Test Center, at Celebrity Center, that's Hugo Soto Martinez's district, Council District 13. And Mindy, along with I think it was a DOA and Lara, confronted Hugo 2 weeks ago at a town hall meeting and asked him, hey, talk about the abuses of Church of Scientology, and do you support removing their tax exempt status? Now, he gave the political answer. He says, I haven't heard about that. I'm going to have to look into it. And that's actually fine, because
yeah,
at least we have him on record saying that he needs to look into it. Next time we confront him on this, we expect him to have an answer. If he gives
yeah,
another answer he doesn't know about, we'll say, you said that last time. Now what? And my thing is, he's not going to be able to keep on running. Eventually, he is going to have to take a stance. And again, he has two choices. He can say that I am for removing the Church of Scientology's tax exempt status, or he can say, no, I think that they should keep their tax exempt status. If he says that they should keep their tax exempt status, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how he would win re-election, because his opponent would just use it on him nonstop. Again,
yeah,
when the mayoral election, Rick Caruso had a highly effective ad where he just played Karen Bass back in 2012 at a Church of Scientology ceremony, just talking about how it's a great creed and so on and so forth. And that was the commercial, just her saying good things about the Church of Scientology. It tells you in a community like Los Angeles, which actually, comparatively to other cities, has a pretty big base of I say big base of Scientologists as compared to other cities. And that doesn't play here. It's the Church of Scientology is toxic. Does any politician want to be on record saying they support that? And good for Mindy, because she got, and it wasn't easy. It's not easy confronting a politician.
yeah,
And she went and asked him what his stance is, and she got it on record. And now we just have to take it from there. And again, one by one with all the politicians, every single one. Doesn't matter where they are in the U.S. I don't care where they are. They could be in Vermont. They could be the elected dog catcher. Get them on record. What is
yeah.
your stance on this?
Yeah, that's great. Jessica Palmadessa, thank you so much. She says, please stop talking bad about Daddy Aludo.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, Jessica and I have talked about this. She saw his social media pictures, and I think that she's interested in the Ludo. I'm being
Could be a future sugar daddy.
Sugar Daddy Aludo. Oh, God. I mean, he makes 170,000 a year, Jessica.
Not close sugar daddy. Maybe if he worked more overtime for Scientology.
Oh, well, he'll be retiring soon, so.
Yeah. Jamie is asking, do you think creators and protesters, and Jamie, thank you for the super chat. Do you think creators and protesters should start constantly pointing out cops can lie? It's not a crime.
Yeah, I mean, cops are allowed to lie.
Yeah.
They can lie. What they can't do is they can lie to people when speaking to a suspect. So if, for instance, a cop can come over to you and say, hey, you know what, your partner's in the other room, and he said, yeah, he told us everything. He said, you did it, you were part of it. And they can make up those lies. Supreme Court says you're allowed to do that. What they can't do is they can't lie on a sworn document. So they can't lie on an arrest report, and they can't lie on the arrest narrative. So they can lie to a point. Do I think it's effective to point out? I mean, listen, cops lie all the time. It's important to point out, not that can they lie? Yes. Should they lie? That's a different story. No, we
Yeah.
expect our police officers to be honest. So I think it's more important not just to point out that they can lie, but to point out the individual lies and show it. We have video showing them lying, and it's important to drive that home.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I did not know that they could lie.
Yeah, they're
It
allowed
seemed like
to.
they did. Yeah, but didn't realize that, like, no, that's an actual thing. Like, they can do that as part of their job.
Yeah, Supreme Court ruled that they are allowed to lie. So
Wow. Fluffer Squirrel UK. Does William know there's over 100 streamers auditing now? History in the making.
that's awesome. Listen. I've told this story again. It's been almost a year since my first interaction. My first fight with them was on April 30th of last year. And like I said, after it happened, I was in the middle of doing a number of projects, and I knew I couldn't dedicate much time. I knew when I
Mhm.
got back from vacation in August, I'd be able to start going after this Church of Scientology harder. And one of my plans was to create a TikTok account and YouTube account, and to try to encourage other, like I said, First Amendment auditors, the people who usually go to, they don't just audit the police, but they'll audit stores and private businesses and go to post offices and just stand there filming to try to invoke some sort of reaction. That's not my thing. I wanted to, rather than piss people off at a post office by filming and having them come up and saying, "What are you doing here? You can't be here." Having the cops come just to say to the cops, "Yes, I can. This is my First Amendment right." Instead
Mhm.
of doing that, is a better target. Go over and go after the Church of Scientologists. You auditing them and going after them will piss off no one except for the Church of Scientologists. Everybody else will be on your side and they'll laugh. I just wanted to win some of them over. To think that really we've been going hard at this like since I would say November. November was when it really kicked off. Um, to think from November till now, 6 months, there's 100 streamers. That's amazing. That's all.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it sound like it started with me. It didn't. This has been going on for a long time. This has been going on. You know, Nasty Nathaniel and Reckless Ben and uh, a bunch of others, ton
Yeah.
of them. We've been doing this for decades. I just think of this latest iteration, the way it's exploded to get to 100 this quickly is listen, we are way ahead of schedule. We are.
Yeah.
And the Church of Scientology is in retreat and they don't know how to handle it. Again, they're used to intimidating people and scaring people off, threatening lawsuits, things like that. Now they're facing, and I used to say kids, a bunch of kids out there laughing at them. And now it's not even kids, it's every demographic is represented. Every
Yeah.
age group is represented. And they're out there from every lifestyle with their cameras rolling, and
Yeah.
Church of Scientology doesn't know how to handle it. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're winning. Just got to keep on
We're
driving it
winning.
home.
You got kids and you got their grandparents out there all over the place. Fluffer Squirrel UK, I wanted to point out on this person's YouTube channel, there are playlists of the different protesters by city. So you can go
What?
on and Fluffer Squirrel UK, this one here, and see by city all the different streamers. And this person is always updating as well. It's a great tool if somebody wants to learn about what's happening around them.
Please follow Fluffer Squirrel.
Yep, Fluffer Squirrel UK. Fluffer
And
Squirrel.
also save Jessica too.
Save Jessica.
Save Jessica. Free Jessica.
Free Jessica. Lil Bo Beats. Thank you so much for that. Do you know if the Manor is complying with Bill 1193? So the Manor Hotel, which is where Celebrity Center is, but I am not familiar with Bill 1193.
I'm not familiar with that.
Unless it's the one about where you have to is that the one tied to human trafficking? Lil Bo Beach, you'll have to tell us a little bit more about that. Confident Chris's finger. Speaking of fun accounts, ex-employees said that there's a secret room where they do, what is that? Is that a snowflake? And LAPD protects it. Oh, a secret room. Is that in Scientology or at La Poubelle? And I know I should probably know what the snowflake is, but I don't. So you got to explain that one to me too. I know it's not as fun when I don't get it, but Karen, thank you so much for that. Streets needs a link for iPhone users. A link to Karen, you got to tell us a link to where there, because for iPhone users, do you mean to go to his page? Scientology Audit Streets LA. You type in Scientology, he's one of the first things that comes up.
I'm not sure what that means.
Me neither. Laura Estrada, where can we buy those finger puppets? So if you're talking about the ones that Confident Chris uses, Confident Chris, tell us in the chat, but I think his come from Amazon. If you're talking about those body thetans, that is Feral Cheryl on the Loose here on YouTube. You can connect with her. My Tony and I are headed to Clearwater to go do some Scientology protesting and see Aaron and a bunch of other people. And I've already asked her, like, I'm like, I need to put it in order.
Ah,
She did one of Aaron that's this goldenrod color, a body thetan little crochet doll with the black shirt. And then she did one of Mike Rinder with a beard and had them art. I made a whole short out of it because I just thought it was
I
hilarious.
need one with Laura. I need a Laura one.
Yes, a
Laura
Laura
FM one.
FM. Yes, that would be great. Nancy's asking, when you started Scientology protesting, did you have any idea it would cross over to your cop watching?
I mean, no, okay, a little bit, because again, my first interaction with the Church of Scientology when I started fighting them happened to be a police incident I was filming, and the Church of Scientology was trying to interfere with that. I thought there would be a little bit here and there. I didn't think it would cross over this way. And honestly, I'll say it again, I didn't think it would be this helpful. I didn't think that they were going to. I'm used to dealing with police corruption. I'm not used to having people come outside of, say, La Poubelle, attack us, and then our protesters are getting arrested, even though we all watch us. It's, I know people are watching at home are like, how could this happen? I'm watching it happen there, and I'm wondering, how could this happen?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot with the LAPD. I think some of this stuff has been the most perplexing stuff that I've ever seen. It's hard to believe that it's happening with thousands of people watching in a major city with a major police force. This is not like, some little town in Indiana does something corrupt. This is the LAPD. To see it happening with all these cameras around, I'm shocked. And
Yeah.
like I said, no, I didn't think it was going to cross over in this way, but now they're completely intertwined. Listen, I've done some lives in the last couple of nights on my cop watching channel, and a lot of people that are coming there come from my Scientology audit channel, and I think they look at police the same way that I look at them. Just listen, I think I'm a reasonable person. I'm not going to just go out there and say, hey, cops are automatically the worst people in the world. They've earned this stuff. They've earned this, the reputation they've gotten from me and others. And I think other people are looking at it that way too. It's hard to watch all these incidents and say, I'm trustful of the Hollywood LAPD. So it's been helpful. It's been surprising.
Yeah, I love it. Liddy Marsh, thank you so much for that. Confident Chris's finger again. Thank you for the super chat. I love when Streets messes with the cops with mustaches. Those things look horrible on them.
So the police, the regulations, they can't have their sideburns come past their bottom of their earlobe, or where it detaches, and they're not allowed to have a mustache come below the corner of their lip. So
Oh.
since they can't have a beard, they try to overcompensate with this huge mustache, huge bushy mustache, and they just often look the part. During the daytime, they have glasses on like I do and looking like a cop with their mustaches. And I just wonder when they're off duty, when they're going to the stores, everybody knows you're a cop just because of that specific look. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like messing with their mustaches too.
I love that. Here for the truth. Thank you so much. Using the power of the internet for good. Talk about word of mouth. Yeah, definitely getting word of mouth out. Confident Chris's finger. Thank you. It's La Poubelle. Not sure what that was in response to, but thank you nonetheless. And Karen, to become a channel member, if you don't see the join button, you may have an iPhone. Go into the description of this video. There is a link to join for anyone can click it to join, but iPhone users who don't see the join button, you can go to the description of the video and find that. So thank you for asking. Julie, thank you for this super chat. Thanks for the sweet message. Natalie, I'll send a pic when my shirt comes. Oh, yay. I came up with my Tony and I made some new merch for people, specifically Never in Scientology. And we took the SPTV logo and then we put, it looks like a dictionary definition, and it says never in, noun, never in Scientology, but all in on bringing down the cult.
Ah.
Just thought it was so great. So I'm so glad that they're loving it, but I'm like, keep asking for, I'm like, I want to see pictures, you guys. Casey Cat, thank you so much. Allie, my Casey undercover girl that you've emailed with, got busted today and escorted out of the Casey org celebration. Really? What were they? What is today? What were they celebrating in Kansas? Oh, that's right. Today is the L. Ron Hubbard birthday celebration in the smaller organization. So they were probably out there. Allie was out there protesting, and looks like she got escorted out of the out of the celebration.
Oh, they got into the celebration, huh?
Sounds like it. We'll have to check that out, Casey Cat. Say a little prayer. Thank you so much for that. God is using you to save his children. Bless you, streets. That's sweet. Oh, okay. Okay. So Karen's saying no join button for streets. Need a link. Do you have memberships on your channel?
I believe so. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it might be the same thing, Karen, if you have an iPhone. So maybe one of if any of Streets mods are watching, you can throw up a link or put it in the maybe in the description of a video of his, because iPhone users, which I am, when you're on the iPhone, you don't see that it's the dumbest thing ever. How do you not?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what YouTube, it's like, what are you thinking? Fix that. So I put it in the description of the video.
Ah, did not know that.
Yeah, never in SP. Thank you. You both, heart you both. Is there a link to OG clip with security? Which clip was that with security? You'll have to tell me. I don't which one with security? You got to tell me more.
There's
Y'all are
so many
speaking.
security.
Yeah, which security? KD214, aka nose candy, secret room at La Poubelle.
Well, I
Oh.
mean, listen, I have I think everybody has public access to the layout of La Poubelle. I need to look at it closely and see if there is a secret room.
That is a good idea. Yep, that is a good idea. Confident Chris's finger, thank you for the super chat, is asking, did Street go to Yunt's neighborhood and post posters?
No, not yet, but I will. Listen, I think, listen, anybody who's done something dirty, I think this is important to show exactly how they break policy to the public. The LAPD is not going to hold them accountable. The public will. I think public shaming and public embarrassment goes a long way. And so while I haven't gotten around to that yet, and I have a lot to do, I will get around to it. I don't forget. And
Yeah.
I believe in timing. I believe in letting people think things have kind of gone away and then coming and doing it.
Oh, I love that. That's even better. Martha, is he still talking? So this is a question. Are you still talking to Chris without Hellcat? And do you know if Chris and LA Cam are coming back?
I have not talked to Chris in a while. I think he's taking a break. LA he's dealt with a tragedy on the East Coast,
Yeah,
and
I've heard that.
I don't know if he got back yet or if I texted him with him yesterday morning, and I think he's on his way back.
Yeah. Okay, great. Mims is a question for Street. Would you like to get a proper English cup of tea if you ever find yourself in London?
Absolutely. And some baked beans for breakfast.
That's right. Art Lover, we covered this one earlier. We watched 2 clips. Well, one for sure of Mini Street. So you'll have to, and yeah, he's all in on Mini Street. So you'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Let's see. Ivy's asking, how does Streets feel about the fact that he started the biggest movement to protest and expose Scientology in history?
No, I mean, this is not and I didn't start anything. People have been doing this for a long time. It just we just sort of changed the way some of it is being done, and used a little bit of creativity and used the power of, like I said, listen, if you're fighting an institution, they have all the advantages at their disposal. They have power, money, connections, and stuff like that. We have 2 things that we can use to our advantage, and that's our cameras, taping incidents, and then social media, getting it out to the world. We can get an incident, you film something, put it out in social media, and it has potential, if it goes viral, to reach millions of people by the end of the day. And these large institutions, where they have to go through all these, these layers to try to get a decision on something on how they should handle things. We don't have to go through that. We're nimble. We just post a video and we reach millions of people. How do they keep up with that? They can't. It's very tough. These large institutions, they're like those battleships that take a long time to turn around, and we can have these little sneak attacks that are actually very big attacks. So listen, I just think that we sort of changed the way that these things. We took advantage of social media and filming, and I think other people are going to do it. So it's not that we started the largest protests against
Mhm.
Scientology in history. We just kind of changed the way things are going, and we created a model that can be used elsewhere, or elsewhere they can do it differently. They can use it as inspiration and change it up and do it differently. Every place is different. Use what we do if you think it works. If it doesn't, perfect it, do it differently. But I think a lot of people are involved with this, and it wasn't just me.
Yeah, it is. It's you brought a whole different twist on it. And that's a beautiful thing about how these things layer and just seem to, in their good time, come together with the right pieces at the right time. And I think the combination of the different communities and the different people that are coming together is what makes it so strong. The
Yeah,
lack of any central control is what makes it so strong. The fact that there's so many different types of people, including, I even saw another comment, Gude grandmas, Gude grannies, I think it was. Nanas for Gude was another one.
well, it allows us to be nimble and to
Yeah,
every day change our tactics. If everything is very centralized, and when there's a committee making decision, then everything becomes slow, and and you end up having infighting and stuff. If people do their own thing each day, how best they see fit, that's
yeah,
the best way to do it. As long as the only thing, listen, there's a few rules that I try to institute when we're out there protesting. We want to bring the community along. We don't want to piss off the people. So the other businesses around there, let's not hurt them. Let's uplift them and help them. Let's
yeah,
make sure we make the community happy that we're there. But as long as we stick to those principles, and and make sure that we have a purpose for being there, stick to those principles and do it however you see fit. Whether it's at the blue building dressing up, whether it's doing mini street stuff, whatever it is, it works.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Surrounded by Scientology. Hey, George. He says we need to get streets to Clearwater as well soon. That's
Oh
out in
yeah.
Florida.
I
Looking to
don't
have
know.
you out
Florida,
there.
yeah, Florida. I don't know about Florida if they're ready for me. I'll be very loud, and I'll probably get myself in trouble.
That'd be great. It would be fantastic. Philip Jones, thank you so much. Any plans to protest around Scientology's author services, Galaxy Press? My daughter works there. I hope she gets out.
So it's an interesting place because that's right there on Hollywood Boulevard, and that'd be North Orange, or is it Sycamore? On Sycamore, and it's right across street from Narconon too. So it's actually two sort of important places. Just that every
Mhm.
time I go over there and stand in front of it, I don't see any sort of action or people coming in and out of there. They're not really recruiting. So I don't really. If I could think of a way to do it, listen, I'm very bothered by Narconon being right across the street. I
Yeah.
have my own theories about how a lot of these attacks that happen at the test center may have come through Narconon. I think,
Mhm.
and also think it's a very creepy looking place and building. I don't know how to properly protest that because you just don't see activity. If there's no activity there, I'm just standing in front of a building, and I don't know how effective that would be.
Yeah, I get that. Never in SP, thank you so much. Looking for a link to the footage that started it all from last year that got William interested in Cult of Scientology. Oh, okay. So that's probably the video from when you were out there. I would just go to his channel and just scroll back and
I
then
think
grab
I don't
that on
even
his
think it would
site.
be on. It's not. I haven't actually have not. I have not posted the full video anywhere. I posted clips of it on Twitter the night it happened, when I was like, this guy's told me to do this to him, and they were just being jerks. And I was talking about it then, and I told him that night. I said, okay, I'm going to end your religion now. But I never posted that video. I should do a long form video and post what happened. It'd probably be like a 15-20 minute video. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if it's
think
going to be as exciting
that.
as people think, though. It was just sort of me just doing my cop watching, and I don't think I was all that rude at first. I just thought they were very demanding of me not standing on the sidewalk. But I don't know how exciting it'll be. But yeah, I think it'll be important if I just posted that.
Yeah. Confident Chris. Hey, Chris, he says hi.
What's going on, Chris? Chris is we had some action last night, but it was more a cop watching variety. I was documenting some cops sitting around doing nothing. Next thing you know, there's helicopters and guys are laid out in the street with their guns pulled and they're raiding a hotel. So we had a little bit of stuff happen last night.
That is exciting. Jamie, thank you. Streets, you're teaching people the laws, helps everyone understand what's legal so we don't go away. Probably don't get taken away so you don't get arrested. Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
teaching
listen,
people what the
a lot
laws
of
are.
times, listen, cops will come to a protest and say you can't be here, you have to leave, blah 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 blah, and people won't challenge that. If they come and say you can't be here, you have to leave, I'm gonna ask them what code says that, and I'm gonna look up the code and challenge it. So yeah, it's important to know what the laws are, so you can, again, cops make stuff up as they go along. It's important to sort of listen. It's important to challenge from an authority standpoint. People who have the ability to take your life and your freedom. I think it's important that we should do some sort of performance audit on them. They're getting in here in LA half of our budget. Shouldn't we audit them? Just make sure we have a good product that's being put out in the street. So I think it's important to challenge, know laws and challenge them just even for that.
Yeah, yeah. Sydney's asking Streets, when is the Gude merch coming out?
I know. I talked to my assistant about this yesterday, and I promise this week it'll be this week. I promise.
Yeah, we get asked about that. I get people asking me about it. I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see what he does.
I
But
know I'm
last
just
time I joked
terrible.
with you. I joked with you.
I've been trying to I've been playing a lot of catch up, and what happens is I plan on getting a lot of work done at night, and next thing you know, I'm at La Poubelle for 3 4 hours, and then I can't get any work done. So for the last week, when I haven't been going out live streaming as much, I've actually been able to catch up on stuff. So I think this is going to be a big week. I think a lot of stuff's going to happen.
I think it is too. I think there's going to be a lot going on this weekend too. We saw the Easter Bunny out last night over at the Blue Buildings. One
Oh, they
of the
have that.
yeah, yeah. It was. I think there were supposed to be 2 Easter bunnies, but it's Danny and or DOA.
Oh, that's funny.
They're the Easter Bunny,
That
and
is funny.
Chris has a duck costume that was absolutely hilarious. It was so great. Oh gosh, these questions are so great too. Um, let's see. Someone was asking a question, I just lost it, but just about the Blue Buildings. Do you think you'll ever go over to L. Ron Hubbard Way and the Blue Buildings? We don't see you over there too much, mostly on the Test Center and Celebrity Center side.
Yeah, for some reason, I've always building creeps me out. It's just a creepy looking building. It just looks like an old asylum to me, and
Mhm.
the energy it gives off. So when I'm over there, I'll be honest with you, I get kind of a little bored with it over there, and it's on the exact opposite side of Hollywood than me. If I don't have to drive, I'd rather not. So when I go to the test center and stuff, I could just walk over there or get on a scooter. Going over to the Blue Building, it's just the distance. So yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not a huge fan of going over there.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, Art, this is a great idea. Good versus evil merch, please.
That's pretty good.
That is a really good one. Good versus evil. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I had pulled up, and I don't know where it is. I can't find it, but I think it was Anhata. And excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong again. Became a member. There was a membership in there, so I just wanted to say thank you for that. I do believe. Let's see, and we answered that question. Well, dang, we could go on and on and on forever, but I know we're already like a little bit of an hour in, and it sounds like we've all got our homework. We're going to keep an eye out for more videos of cops behaving badly and get those sent to Mindy. Or again, you guys can email me too, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com, because we're putting together a spreadsheet as well of different things. We are going to keep harassing you about the Gude merch.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it together. Um, Yeah, I have some this week. And I'll also post Alyssa's, who's helping me with a lot of this stuff. I'll post her email address so people, if they don't get through to me because I'm terrible at answering messages and emails. If you message her or you send her clips and stuff, anything you want to send me, send to her, and she could sort of screen that. I'll post that, and it'll be helpful.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. It's always getting more organized. I'm working on that too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I always love when you come on the channel. We can catch up on just like the more protesters, the fun stuff that's going on too with mini streets and all of that. So absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I love being here. So look forward to coming on again.
Awesome. Everybody else, hope you have a fabulous weekend. Remember, if you are catching this live, tomorrow we're gonna do the recap early because I have some Easter plans with the grandkids. So I'm probably gonna do it at 8 or 8:30. I'll get a notification out, but that's earlier for a Sunday. But keep an eye out for that. Please hit the like button before you all head out and hit that subscribe button as well. I would really appreciate your help with that. All right, everybody, you get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.